and I'm from the Perth office. I'm the registered migration agent. And today's live session is about the WA state nomination program. I'll be telling you all the details about what are the requirements for this state nomination and what is the application process and what the applicants need to do in order to receive the invite from WA state nomination. With the recent announcements which and the changes which WA state has done, now it is divided amongst three different criteria or three different categories. First one is the general stream. For the general stream, the applicant can be living or working anywhere in Australia to be eligible. Applicants who are offshore are not eligible for any of the streams for WA state nomination. Now, in the general stream also, they have divided it into the stream 1 and stream 2. For the stream 1 applicants, it is majorly for the nursing or the science background applicants who have got the skills assessment in the nominated occupations as per the WA skills occupation list in the stream 1 and have worked at least for 12 months with as in Australia or 3 years in overseas and have claimed that points in their skills assessment. They would also further need the 12 months of a job offer once they have been invited from the WA state government. Most of the applicants have got a confusion that if they have got a 12 months of an experience, they do not need a job offer. That's incorrect. You still need the job offer even if you have got 12 months of the requirement, because if you have the 12 months of an experience in Australia or 3 years of an experience in overseas, which mainly means you have claimed 5 points for the skilled employment, then only you will be invited. And once invited, you need to show you have got a further contract of 12 months of a full time from regional area of Western Australia. So the contract for mainly the nursing occupations is required from the regional area. If your skills assessment is a registered nurse aged care, then the contract can be from the Perth metropolitan area also. Other than that, if your skills assessment is any of the nurse other than the aged care, the contract must be from a regional area for the next 12 months. The contract needs to be for 35 hours per week. We have generally seen that in the nursing background, even the 76 hours is considered as a part-time. So it doesn't matter whether your contract says the part-time or the full-time, but the contract needs to be for 35 hours per week from one employer or two employer and must be ongoing. Cannot be a casual contract. So let's say that the requirement is 35 hours per week or 70 hours a fortnight, and you have got one employer giving you 20 hours a week and the another employer giving you 15 hours another week. So for the same week, then you can merge two contracts and that also meets the requirement. The contract can be from one employer or two or more, does not matter, as long as you could show it is 75 hours of a work, which is at least ongoing and cannot be a casual contract, because in a casual contract it doesn't show that it is minimum for the next 12 months. Employment is not there. Then the second stream for the WA state nomination in the general stream is the stream 2. In this one, they have got a different occupations, and there's quite a vast list for this. Applicants over interstate are also eligible. Whether you have studied in WA or you have worked in WA, it doesn't matter for this one. The popular occupations in this stream is basically a lot of IT, engineering, accountant, trade occupations. So there are quite a bit of occupations in this one. Under this stream, again, you need a 12 months of a contract from anywhere from Australia. Does not need to be regional only, unless until it is specified for your occupation. There are very few occupations which are specified for this purpose. Like for example, a vocational education teacher, they are specified as the regional only, then that's where you need it, otherwise you don't. Or it is specified that you are only eligible for a 491 visa, right? Because in the occupation list, when you see that one, there's a occupation that is given, and then it says whether it is eligible, whether it is available for 190, or whether it is available for 491, or whether it is available for both. And then the third column says whether it is a regional only or not. In case if your occupation is regional only and there's a Y in that column, then only you need the contract from the regional area of Western Australia. Otherwise, the contract from anywhere in Australia is fine, including Perth metropolitan area. The interstate candidates are eligible to apply for this one as long as they are living in Western Australia. Sorry, they are living in anywhere in Australia. There's no requirement of 12 months of a work experience or a claimed employment points under the stream 2. Your occupation, as long as you have got a skills assessment and you have got minimum 65 points, you are eligible to apply. However, in the recent 2 rounds, because since they have announced 2 rounds have gone for the state nomination, that was in July and in August. In both of these rounds, the interstate applicants under the stream 2 have been invited at the very high points, somewhere between 95 and above, for most of the occupations. We have not seen any invite for an accountant yet, but we are waiting for those invites in next coming rounds for the state nomination. Once you are invited, after that you have got 28 days to accept the state invitation, and then you have to provide the contract when you are accepting the state application. So when you're lodging an expression of interest, before that only you should start looking at whether you have got a contract or not, because once you are invited, there's only 4 weeks for you to provide that to the state application. The requirement for the job contract is that the company must be operating from Western Australia. So it doesn't matter whether the head office is in Melbourne or Sydney or any other state, as long as they have got any operational office in WA, you are eligible to accept that through that job offer letter. There's no requirement of company to be 12 months old, or there's no requirement that the skilled employment must be in your assessment outcome. No such things are there. You could apply but without that also. Then the third stream that we have is a graduate stream. This stream is only for the applicants who have lived and studied in Western Australia, in the Western Australia Institute, at least for two years. The study can be the bachelor's degree, can be the master's degree, or can be just an ALE course as an English course for the 2 years. However, in all the recent rounds, we have seen that they have invited the people up to the minimum requirement of the advanced diploma who have finished in Western Australia. So start writing from the PhD, coming down to the master's, bachelor's honors, and then the advanced diploma. Those applicants have been invited. Applicants who have just done the diploma but they have met the 2 years requirement have not received the invites yet, until they have got the very high points on their expression of interest. This is not very competitive, as long as you have got 65 points, the points are enough, unless until it's a very popular occupation like a finance manager. They have been invited minimum at 75 points until the previous round, and we expect them to stay at minimum 75 points only in the next coming rounds also. All the trade occupations under the general stream, they are overlapping with the graduate stream also. There are a couple of occupations, for example, like a chef or electrical engineer or a few other engineers also, or the IT occupations which overlap each other in both the streams. If you are invited from both the streams, then you need to meet the requirement of one stream only. You can accept the invite accordingly, because when you receive an invite email from the state government, it is mentioned that under what stream you have been invited, and you need to be careful when accepted that one. A couple of clients have received in the previous invites, have received in both two emails for an invitation, and by chance if you have gone ahead with your you are a graduate of WA but you have accepted the invite under the general stream, then you need to provide the 12 months of a contract. Then you do not meet the requirements of either the 6 months contract or 6 months experience, because if you are invited as per the stream and you are accepting as per under that stream, you have to meet the requirements of that, even if you are a graduate of WA also. We have seen that in previous rounds, few of the graduates of WA, even meeting the requirements, have been invited under the general stream, meaning that they have to provide the 12-month contract even though they have worked for 6 months in Western Australia. Under the graduate stream, the requirement is either the applicant needs to have 6 months of a work experience in Australia, that work can be part-time, or need to have 6 months of a full-time contract further. If you have done a job ready program and you are a chef and invite, even though you have studied in WA, but if you have been invited under the general stream, then you have to give a contract for this purpose because you are invited under that stream. So this is about the state nomination general requirements that we have been talking about it. And more or less, other than that, the interstate applicants also have to show that they have got the money to settle here and move to Western Australia. You do not have to move to Western Australia when you are invited, but either when your job offer date is your first date of start of an employment is there, then you have to move, or upon grant of the visa, whatever is in your job offer. If your job offer says upon grant of the visa, then you should move after that one. If your job offer says your start date is within the next 3 months, then you have to start working within the next 3 months. There's a settlement funds also that is required by the applicants, which is about $20,000 for a single applicant, 30 for a couple, and $35,000 for the children. So if you have those ones, then you need to show that you have got money to settle yourself here. That money does not need to be sitting in your bank account from last 3 years or last 6 months or anything. It can be just an available balance of the money, and that is acceptable by the state government for this purpose. The application processing time for WA state nomination is about 28 working days. So once you provide once you have accepted and provided all the documents, officer will get in touch with you within 28 days, giving the decision of an application or requesting for further documents if required. And there is also a mandatory requirement of having a 7 each in English for the occupations which are the managerial, or for an ENSCO level up to 2. So if you come under the group of 1 or group of 2, then you need to have a 7 each in English. If your occupation is from ENSCO group level 3, then there is no such requirement of sitting an English test and having 7 each in English. For example, the group 1 and group 2 are all the professionals or the managerial occupations. Like, for example, a cafe and a restaurant manager, you have lodged your expression of interest, but your expression of interest does not have a 7 in each. And even if you have got meeting 90 or 80 points, you will not be invited, because it is a mandatory requirement to have 7 in English for the group level 1 or 2 occupations. Okay, this was about the state nomination requirements. I would be looking into a few of the queries that we have, and we take it up from there. Okay. How about 95 points in accounting? This is the question from, sorry, where does this goes? This is the question from Isha Vivek Verma. Isha, 95 points from accountant. Are you talking about the interstate stream for the general stream under the stream 2? Until yet, we have not received any invite for the accountants yet. We expect that to start from at least from 100 at the moment, 100 or 105, and then eventually can see the drop into this one. But we haven't received any invites for the accountants yet, so can't say 95, but doesn't seem enough as of now. Now, the question from Amrinder Singh. My friend got invited by WA. He got permanent full-time job offer already. Why he needs to show funds for resettlement? Amrinder, this is a requirement for the WA state government that if you are interstate, you need to show the settlement funds. The job offer is an additional requirement also. So there are two separate requirements and you have to meet all the requirements for this purpose. Akash Hotwani, how about accounting? What are the good points to get an invitation? As I just said, that in the last two rounds, accountants has not been invited, and we expect them to be around 100 or 105 in the initial rounds. How about system administrator for 190? Ankita Patel. Ankita, for the system administrator, we expect the points to be between 80-85 for the interstate applicants. Twinkle Patel, how about chef? The chefs have been invited at 80 points for the WA state nomination in the previous rounds for under the general stream. Under the graduate stream, they have been invited at 75. And Ankita Patel, again, how about system administrator? I've got a job offer to move to WA and I've submitted my EOI. So Ankita, depending upon your points, if you have got 80 and above points, you should be getting an invite soon. Sunil, how about community services? Community services under a graduate stream. So if you have studied in WA, then only you meet the requirement. If you have not studied in WA, then you do not meet the requirement under the community services because community worker is under the list of a graduate stream. Fateh Deol, restaurant manager chances with own 75 points for WA 491 or 190, applying from Victoria. Restaurant manager with 75 points for 491 looks too less. We are expecting the interstate applications under the general stream to be between 80 and 85. And then Fateh again, do we have to show job offer contract after getting pre-invite or before? And what should be the time period to start the job and move there? Fateh, you have to give the contract after you have been invited, not the pre-invite. After the invite, you get 28 days to accept the invite and give the job offer. The start date needs to be within 3 months of the receiving an invite, or otherwise you could have it upon grant of the visa if your employer is not happy to give you a work as a temporary visa holder. With Desai, how about civil engineering occupation? 85 at the moment for 190, 80 plus 5 with for 190 with you could expect the invite within upcoming rounds. And Zuki again, what about community? Sorry, what about community development? As I said, community support worker. Community worker is in the graduate stream, so you can only be invited if you have studied in WA for 2 years. What about family sponsored around 90 points, including 15 as a telecommunication network planner? As I don't have this occupation in WA, but it's in MLTSSL. I've done 2 years advanced diploma course. So this is about the state nomination. The family sponsored, as you have mentioned, your occupation is not in the WA skills occupation list. You cannot be invited under this one. And 90 points for telecommunication network planner seems low for a 491 family sponsored. Quenly, just want to ask if Australia qualification have to be relevant to nominated occupation. No, the Australian qualification does not need to be the nominated occupation for the graduate stream. As long as you have got 2 years of a study and your nominated occupation is different, that's fine. For example, my nominated occupation is electrical engineering and I have done a master's in project management or MBA or any other 2-year study. I'm fine with that. Sam Mirza, I have 80 points in analyst programmer, developer programmer, software engineer from New South Wales. The 12 months contract, is there any chance to but do get chances. However, I want to tell all the viewers that WA state has got the quota of 1,400 for the 190 and 350 for, sorry, including everything is 1,450 for WA state nomination. As compared to the other states, this is not very big. So as long as the quota is there, you can keep receiving the invites. But once the quota will be finished, then you can only be invited into the next financial year, which will be the July. And we just don't see with this one, they will be running a lot longer with this program. Ashutosh Gupta, why is WA giving so many pre-invites without even checking the eligibility? Until now, is there any record of how many nominations is WA pending with as of so many invites? A lot of people would have applied somehow. Okay. Ashutosh, right. This is a very genuine question, as a lot of people wanted to know that they have got such a little quota of 1,400, and just in the previous round, they have invited so many people. Having said that, if you see, all the people who have been invited, they do not accept the state invitations, as only as per our previous experience, we have seen only 1/4 of the people have been able to source or have got the job offer letters or meet the requirements. As per the previous year, if we see that 1,000 from January 2021 until 30th of June 2021, which is the last financial year, 1,700 and about 80 invites were being given by WA state nomination. However, only 700 people have accepted an invite and have gone through that program, and the rest 1,000 invites were not counted as the state nomination program because they could not provide the job offer letters. So exactly the same scenario here also. Pre-invites receiving does not mean that you are taking one spot for the state nomination unless until that's approved and you have been given the invite, you have received the invite from the state government as well as the federal government also. Once you receive that, then only that's counted towards the one seat allocated to the state application. Rosila, which was Advanced Diploma of Telecommunication Network Engineer, and I have family in Perth. Yes, as I said, telecommunications network engineer. If you have advanced diploma studied here, but your occupation is network planner, that's not in the WA list. Next question. I want to move to WA as I've just started my subclass 4 at 5 and my field is computer networking. What should I do? Marty, for the application for WA, it is very important to have the skills assessment. If you have studied the computer networking, either the bachelor's or the master's, as a holder of graduate visa, if you have to do your professional year, you can do that. And after that only you can lodge your expression of interest. So it's a while to go before you lodge your expression of interest. By the time we will see what are the new rules or if they've changed anything, what's the quota, there's a lot of uncertainty for that one. And Sayed Yasim, what about telecommunication engineer? So I'm not going to talk about the particular occupation unless until it's a popular occupation like the accountants, where we expect the invites to go about more than 100 points or 105. Rest all the occupations like an IT or engineering or the trade have been invited even at the lesser points also, as low as 75. The professional occupations like engineering and IT have gone up with 85 and above only. So, but we do not expect them to stay at the same points. They could always come down in the next few rounds also. How long does it take for the approval after submission? Their standard processing time is 28 working days. And however, we have seen they have been quite quick nowadays. Telecommunication engineer 190. Again, Sayed Yasim, as I said, more than 85 points we will be looking into. How about computer network and systems engineer? CNSE is only under the graduate list, so you must be the graduate of WA to be eligible under this one. What about finance manager? If we have 75 points, living and graduate in WA, Manpreet Sandhu. Finance manager with 75 points, more or less likely it will be the 491 visa rather than the 190. And what is the minimum point for eligibility? The minimum points eligibility is 65, but we have not received 65 at 65, not received many invites, so you have to go with the merits of the points. But the minimum eligible points are 65. Sam Mirza, I have 80 points for analyst programmer. Okay, we have done that. How about anything related to filmmaking? I'm doing masters in screen arts. Prakriti, the first thing that you have to look into is in what occupation are you going to get your skills assessment. If your occupation is in a Warsaw, then only you could further consider for this one. For the film arts and all, your occupation body is going to be wet assessed. You need at least 1 year of an experience in your nominated occupation, then only you could talk further. What about security specialist? It is the ICT security specialist. As I said, all IT and above, those ones are the 85 and above. Santosh Kurmi, I'm an electrical engineer. I have 8 years experience in electrical maintenance and refrigeration system. I do not have degree in refrigeration. Can I apply for the trade field, specifically in air conditioning? You need to have a skills assessment, and there are different pathways for the skills assessment, like you have an Australian qualification or you don't have an Australian qualification, but you need some qualification for this. Even the qualification through the RPL is also accepted, and then you need 3 years of an experience to be counted. Or you can do the job ready program, for which the Australian qualification is must. Brahma Reddy, how about 70 points for mechanical engineering and general stream? I see 2 less. I don't see any invites in the coming near future would be less than 80 or 85. Munna Sharma, finance manager on 75 for 190. We just see 75 points for the 491. 190, we suspect this to be a bit low because the last round was at 75 for 491. So either you can wait or can go forward with the 491. What are the chances of 190 New South Wales civil? 90 points. Working in my nominated occupation since 14 months. Living in regional New South Wales. Okay, so 85 points for 190. They are quite good. You have been working also, so you should expect a invite in coming rounds. I'm a software engineer. Is there any opportunity? Trilok software engineer is in the WA general as well as the graduate list. And as long as you have got a skills assessment, you should apply for that and look out for your points. Mandeep, how about chef or cook in WA with 80 points for 190? The cook is only under the general stream. The chef is under the general as well as the graduate stream, and 80 points should be enough for these occupations. If I do diploma of community services from WA online for 2 years, can I be eligible? Online study is not accepted. It has to be face-to-face study in the college campus only for the WA graduate stream. Margie Ahmed Sheikh, can you suggest me about advanced diploma in civil construction design scope in WA? It's a very good course, and it leads to the WA state nomination under the graduate as well as the general stream, and it is an accredited course. You do not need any experience to get the skills assessment, and it is quite in demand also. We do give a lot of tick to these courses. Gitu Sethi, how about painter from Victoria with 70 points of own for 194.91 with 2 years experience? You should lodge your expression of interest. Trade occupations have been invited with 75 points, so you should be having the chances for that. 65 points for WA graduate stream. Is it possible for state nomination depending upon depending upon your occupation? If your occupation is a popular occupation like in accounting, in finance, and all 65 is not enough. But if your occupation is like a we got the restaurant manager or IT, they were invited at 65 also. You should also lodge your 491 also to increase your points and increase your chances. With WA state nomination, if you are invited for one and then you have got another for 491 in the first round and you have got another EOI for 190, you get the chances of invited on the other EOI also. It is not like any other state where if you are invited once, you will not be invited again on the other stream or on the other subclass. Is WA quota still available? As last round they invited a lot. Cohen, yes, they are still available. Sending in invites and accepting those ones and giving the state quota are two different things. Because if they have last year, as I said, they invited about 1,800 people, but only 700 seats were allocated because rest of them either did not accepted those invite or did not meet the criteria. How likely I will get my invitation for 190 with 80 points as chef? Malik Maaz. Yes, you have got the chances of getting an invite for 80 points as chef. Is biotechnology a good course? Biotechnology, are you talking about an engineering or a science? If you talk about an engineering, then it leads to the and if then you can get the skills assessment from EA without doing any experience, but for the biotechnologist you would need 1 year of an experience, so depending upon a science or an engineering course. Gabriela, I have 90 points and I'm working as a mechanical engineer for 2 years in WA. General stream schedule 2. Can I expect an invitation in coming rounds? And yes, Gabriela, you can expect your invitation. Vikram, hi there, telecommunications network engineer at 95 points. Yes, you do have got chances of being invited. How about physiotherapist? 190 visa with 90 points. Yes, you have got chances. Vikram, hi there, general stream telecommunication network engineer, 95 points. Yes, you have chances. So I'm going to skip those questions where it is just talking about the points, as I have said many times in this session, that 85 and above for the interstate should look forward for getting an invite in the coming rounds. With 95 points, you should be looking forward in first 1 or 2 rounds. With 85 points, maybe by end of this year. And how about chef at 75? What about masters in mechanical engineer? If you do masters in mechanical engineering from WA, and if it's an accredited degree, you can do the skills assessment without the CDR reports. If it is a non-accredited, you can get the assessment with the CDR reports, but then it has got chances. Any struggle that you will have is only for the job offer or a 7 each. If that's being met, then 190 could be a journey for you. When is the next round in WA for 190? The 190 does the round generally on third week of each month, third Thursday. We are expecting that to be in the next week, Thursday, the rounds to be there. Childcare Center Manager full skills assessment, 3 years experience with NSCO's degree requirements. Can I put PR with diploma? Yes, because your assessment body has assessed you as a childcare center manager. You can put this one with your experience also. What about chemical engineer with 85 points? Yes, you do have got a chance of being invited in next coming rounds, in the upcoming rounds, maybe by end of this year. Accountant living in Victoria with 70 points is too less. Okay. So thank you so much. Now we come up to the ending of this session where I have taken all the questions, and I would highly urge everyone, whether you have got 65 points or whether you have got 100 points, you must lodge an expression of interest. WA state nominations, their rounds, whatever has held in the last two, has been very unexpected ones. They are not the ones where we could predict what they are going to do in the next rounds also. You do not want it to be saying to yourself, alas, I should have lodged my expression of interest, because this is a kind of a lottery ticket where you only be invited if you have lodged an expression of interest. There's no application that you have to do for this one unless until you are invited. So all you have to do is lodge EOI. It's very important lodging an EOI. The informations in the EOIs are also very important. We have seen a lot of clients where they have lodged the EOIs and some informations in those ones were inaccurate, that we cannot, even after getting an invite, we cannot proceed further with those and have to re-lodge those expression of interest. So make sure that every information in your EOI that you are claiming the points for must be accurate and should not affect your application further when it goes to the Department of Home Affairs, because the state government is only going to look into the criteria whether you are meeting that criteria or not. They are not going to look into that whether the points that you have claimed are good enough and do you meet those criteria for those points or not. They're only going to look into the WA state nomination criteria only, and this could further affect you where the state application is approved and you have lodged your visa application. So make sure the claiming points that you're lodging in your expression of interest, you are sure about those points also. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and we will come up with the another session soon once we receive those invites for the WA state nomination. Thanks a lot.